All right, are you ready for this? Here we go. We're going to do a little bit of a variety today. We're going to do some repeat after me. We're going to do some shadowing. We're going to do some text comprehension, vocabulary, a little bit of everything. Let's jump into it. Why do we place so much importance on what others think? It's an undeniable part of being human. You can't deny that it is a part of being human. It's undeniable. You can't deny it. It's an inescapable aspect of humanity, of being human. It's an undeniable part of being human. It's an undeniable part of being human. Researchers have pointed out that. They've noted that thousands of years ago, humans lived in tight-knit groups, tight, close-knit communities. Humans lived in close-knit communities. Back then, in those days, being accepted by your peers meant safety and security. So gaining acceptance from your peers, from the people around you, that provided safety and security. That's what it meant. It provided safety and security. That's what it meant. If you were cast out, it could lead to danger or even struggle for survival. Cast out, rejected from the group, thrown out. If you were thrown out, if you were cast out, it could become the impetus of danger or even a struggle for survival. Over time, we learned to care deeply about how we are perceived by others. We care about how others perceive us, what others think about us, how we are perceived by other people. Over time, we learn to care deeply about how we are perceived by others. You say it. Although we don't rely on others for our survival anymore, that desire for approval still lingers within us. It remains inside us. It lingers within us. It remains inside us. Let's shadow this. Say it with me. Although we don't rely on others for our survival anymore, that desire for approval still lingers within us. Again, although we don't rely on others for our survival anymore, that desire for approval still lingers within us. Let's take a moment to consider how different life is today. Let's take a moment to consider how different life is today. Life is so different today. While we no longer fight for basic survival, the pressure to fit in remains strong. Do you remember fit in from our last lesson? Fit in is to feel accepted, to feel like you are part of the group. While we no longer fight for basic survival. I don't know about that. Sometimes we fight for basic survival in different places in the world. The pressure to fit in remains strong. Do you feel the pressure to fit in? It often feels like society expects us to behave in specific ways. In certain ways, to act in certain ways, behave, act, to act in certain ways, to behave in specific ways. Can you pop the pronunciation on that like this? Say it like this. It often feels like society expects us to behave in specific ways. Say it. I know it's exaggeration, but it's good. It's good for your practice. Culture sets rules for how we should look, communicate, and live. That's what culture is, isn't it? Culture is how we look, communicate, and live. Culture. And then there's social media to contend with. Oh, we have social media to contend with. What's that contend with? To deal with. To deal with. And then on top of all of that, we have social media that we must deal with. We must contend with. Every time we post a picture or comment online, there's a sense of anticipation for likes and comments. Are you going to like this video? What comments are you going to leave in the comment section? You're going to complain and say, Chad, this lesson was so different than my usual lesson. I need the same lesson every time. I don't know. So every time we post a picture or comment online, there's there's an excitement, a sense of anticipation, an excitement for receiving. Good likes, bad likes, comments, all of that. Okay, we seek validation. What's that? To seek validation. That means to actively look for approval, confirmation, or recognition from others, to feel like you are valued, like you are accepted. I'm valued. I'm accepted. I feel validated. We seek validation. Treating our online interactions like a scoreboard for our lives. Are you keeping score for your life? How many points you make? How many dollars you have in the bank? Or maybe not in your country, you don't have dollars. How much money? We seek validation, treating our online interactions like a scoreboard for our lives. If we don't get the response we hope for, it can leave us feeling inadequate. Inadequate. What's that? Do you sometimes feel inadequate? Do you feel like you are not enough? Do you feel insufficient? If you feel insufficient or not enough, then you feel inadequate. So if we don't get the response we hope for, I hope people like me, it can leave us feeling inadequate. This constant need for approval can be exhausting, don't you think? It can make you tired, right? It makes me tired. All right, so this constant need for approval can be exhausting, don't you think? It leads to thoughts like, what will others say? Or, will they like this? Caring too much about others' opinions comes at a cost. So it comes with a price to pay. When you say it comes at a cost, comes with a price to pay, it has consequences. That's good. Comes at a cost, it has consequences. Caring too much about what? It doesn't say about what. It says caring too much about others' opinions comes at a cost. First, it robs us of our freedom. It robs us. It takes away. It takes away our freedom. It robs us of our freedom. Often pushing us to do things purely to please others. Pushing us, forcing us to do things purely just to please others. wearing clothes we don't like, or saying yes to requests we'd rather decline, just to make other people happy. All right, I'm going to say all of that starting at the top. You can say it with me if you like. First, it robs us of our freedom, often pushing us to do things purely to please others, wearing clothes we don't like, or saying yes to requests we'd rather decline. We would rather decline. We would rather say no. I'm going to say it one more time. Try to say it with me. First, it robs us of our freedom, often pushing us to do things purely to please others, wearing clothes we don't like, or saying yes to requests we'd rather decline. Second, it can erode our self-confidence. Erode. Way up there. Can I get to it? Yeah, there it is. Erode. Wear away. Dissolve. Crumble. Like rain comes on the ground and it washes away. It erodes. Second, it can erode our self-confidence. When faced with disapproval, we might start to question our worth. When you're faced with something you're confronted with, when you're confronted with disapproval, we may start to question, begin to doubt our worth, our value. Am I not good enough? Am I insufficient? Am I not good enough? That kind of thinking is truly damaging. That kind of thinking is truly damaging. Third, it can hold us back from trying new things because we worry. What if people laugh at me? But here's a crucial point. Everyone has their unique opinions. Everyone has their unique opinions. What one person adores is to love. What one person adores, another might dislike. And that's perfectly fine. All right, I'm going to say it and then you repeat after me. What one person adores, another might dislike. And that's perfectly fine. Go. Good. For instance, some people enjoy spicy food while others shy away from it. That doesn't make spicy food bad. It makes the people that shy away from it stupid. No, I did not just say that. I love spicy food. All right. The same principle applies to our relationships. Just because someone doesn't like you, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Just because someone doesn't like you, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Their opinion reflects their perspective, not your worth. Their opinion reflects their perspective, not your worth. You try it. So, what can we do about this? What can we do about this? We need to remind ourselves that other people's opinions do not define our value. All right, let's say that. Say it together. So, what can we do about this? We need to remind ourselves that other people's opinions do not define our value. It's essential to focus on what truly matters. Your own happiness and the people who genuinely care for you. At the end of the day, The most important opinion is your own. Letting go of the need to please others can free us to live confidently and authentically. Let's say that all together nonstop. Letting go of the need to please others can free us to live confidently and authentically. Again, letting go of the need to please others can free us to live confidently and authentically. Isn't that what we all desire? A life without fear, where we can truly be ourselves. It's time to reclaim our power from the judgments of others. It's time to reclaim our power from the judgments of others. Say it. Let's prioritize our happiness over external approval. Let me say this in a different way. Let's focus on our happiness rather than seeking approval from others. Seeking approval from others, external approval. Okay. Your worth lies not in what others think, but in how you perceive yourself. All right, I'm going to say that in different words. Your worth does not depend on what others think, but rather on how you view yourself. I'm going to say it here. I go. Your worth lies not in what others think, but in how you perceive yourself. All right, that's our text for today. Now I'm going to say that whole thing nonstop. Feel free to shadow me. You can listen or join me and try to say it with me, whichever is your skill level. Let's try it. Here we go. Why do we place so much importance on what others think? It's an undeniable part of being human. I made a mistake right from the beginning. I'm sorry. Let's keep going. Researchers have pointed out that thousands of years ago, humans lived in tight-knit groups. Back then, being accepted by your peers meant safety and security. If you were cast out, it could lead to danger or even a struggle for survival. Over time, we learn to care deeply about how we are perceived by others. Although we don't rely on others for our survival anymore, that desire for approval still lingers within us. Let's take a moment to consider how different life is today. While we no longer fight for basic survival, the pressure to fit in remains strong. It often feels like society expects us to behave in specific ways. Culture sets rules for how we should look, communicate, and live. And then there's social media to contend with. Every time we post a picture or comment online, there's a sense of anticipation for likes and comments. We seek validation, treating our online interactions like a scoreboard for our lives. If we don't get the response we hoped for, it can leave us feeling inadequate. This constant need for approval can be exhausting, don't you think? It leads to thoughts like, what will others say? Or Will they like this? Caring too much about others' opinions comes at a cost. First, it robs us of our freedom, often pushing us to do things purely to please others, wearing clothes we don't like, or saying yes to requests we'd rather decline. Second, it can erode our self-confidence. When faced with disapproval, we might start to question our worth. Am I not good enough? That kind of thinking is truly damaging. Third, it can hold us back from trying new things because we worry, what if people laugh at me? But here's a crucial point. Everyone has their unique opinions. Let's try that again. What one person adores, another might dislike, and that's perfectly fine. For instance, some people enjoy spicy food, while others shy away from it. That doesn't make spicy food bad. The same principle applies to our relationships. Just because someone doesn't like you, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. I'm going to say that again. Just because someone doesn't like you, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Their opinion reflects their perspective, not your worth. So, what can we do about this? We need to remind ourselves that other people's opinions do not define our value. It's essential to focus on what truly matters, your own happiness and the people who genuinely care for you. At the end of the day, the most important opinion is your own. Letting go of the need to please others can free us to live confidently and authentically. Isn't that what we all desire? A life without fear, where we can truly be ourselves. It's time to reclaim our power from the judgments of others. I'm getting too tired. Let's prioritize our happiness over external approval. Your worth lies not in what others think, but in how you perceive yourself. Boom. Good workout. Woo! I'm exhausted. If I'm exhausted, I know you must be exhausted. So congratulations on this long lesson. One step at a time. I'll see you in the next practice video.